Howdy, howdy. Welcome on into the pre-show before the free show.
Your Dallas Cowboys postgame show. Line them up. 888-787-DCTF. Let us know what you think of 49ers 30, Cowboys 24. Here on the official Cowboys station, Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Did you watch the game?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Boy, you've wisened up in your old age.
My mom was here. We were doing wedding stuff, so I decided that I was going to keep the good vibes going and not allow them to ruin everything of my life.
You chose peace?
Yeah, they ruin my Sunday all the time. So the one Sunday my mom's up here to help me do some wedding stuff, like I'm not...
Respect.
Not doing that.
Respect. I'd like to tell you a story from my Weekend Digest, if I could. May I?
Yes.
So it was Saturday, and my wife was out getting her hair did. She had a hair appointment, and one of Hank's friends was celebrating her birthday. She had a birthday party, and so it was my job to gather up the boys and get them to just this friend's house. Basically, they were having a birthday party. And so one of the things that I think is important to note about this is that if you've ever had a 5.5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, they are okay listeners, but not great listeners. Mm-hmm. And furthermore, if you've ever had a 2.5-year-old, you may know that anytime you ask them to put on clothes or do this, that, or the other, they will just run and just like try to evade you. They'll basically like try to just like do a swim move on you and get away from you. It's really like the open field performances from Max Tepper are pretty impressive. And so it was time to go to this birthday party. And I said, Hank, I need you to go and gather up, I need you to put on your shoes, get ready and stuff like that. At which point I said, I'm going to go put shoes on Max. So I got Max's shoes. I said, hey, Max, it's time to put on your shoes. And per usual, that means that he just took off and just like started running around trying to evade me, more or less. Just laughing the whole way. So I'm running around chasing this little devil, trying to get things going. And he makes a turn at the corner of the couch, and he makes the turn well, and I don't. And when I tell you that I stubbed my toe, my little toe, worse than I think I've ever stubbed my toe in my entire life, it was brutal. All that is to say, Max Tepper broke my toe. I'm playing hurt today. I've got there's nothing you can do, just a broken pinky toe. But Max broke my pinky toe, and it hurts. I'm playing hurt, and I think we should take this opportunity to really give toe injury awareness. I think this should be November's coming up. I think it should be Toe Injury Awareness Month. Hashtag Toe Strong. To watch your toes, because it really hurts. It's a big owie right now that I have on my pinky toe. So
okay, I had to dive out there for a second. You broke your pinky toe?
Yeah, Max broke it.
Oh no!
I was chasing him and I stubbed my toe on the couch.
Ow!
And broke my pinky toe. So I'm playing hurt. Hashtag Toe Strong. If you want to Venmo me,
I've broken a toe before. It doesn't feel good.
If you want to Venmo me, Venmo is Greg-Tepper for my pain and suffering. It would really be appreciated as we raise awareness for toe health. I feel like that's something that we can do. We can make November Toe Injury Awareness Month. That was my weekend, was breaking my toe because I was chasing my 2.5-year-old. You good?
Yeah, if you're watching on Facebook right now, we're having some technical issues, so you can either go to Twitter or YouTube, and you can watch it on there. We're getting that fixed, but just go to YouTube.
Okay, you heard the lady. Go to YouTube. That's where you can go. Yeah, that's it. Hit the theme expo.
Hang on, I'm all discombobulated here.
Hit the theme expo. Yes, y'all. From the new Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show with a desk. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live at TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all the places, or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting here at the aforementioned desk, sitting over there at the news control, News Central. That's what we're going to call it. She's a Dutch to the Dorks, Miss 305. She's Ashley Pickle. She's working hard.
Howdy. Yeah, we're back up on Facebook.
Okay, good.
We were still connected to the UNT studios from Friday night, and well, I don't think they realized it was our account and not theirs, so they started fixing to run their new newscast on our page. But we got it fixed. So welcome to all our viewers on Facebook.
Have we expanded? Are we on the North Texas page too?
Maybe.
Hi, North Texas. Today is Monday, October 28th, 2024, 31 days till Thanksgiving.
Goodness.
Something I realized this week, did you know that this year, Thanksgiving is as late as it can possibly be? It's November 28th. That's the latest a Thursday can be, which means we get the longest Thanksgiving season possible.
That rocks. I'm here for that.
Because Thanksgiving season starts at the end of Halloween, like November 1. So we get 28 full days.
I like it.
It'd be great.
Gobble, gobble.
Happy birthday to Frank Ocean. It's episode 1811. On today's show, folks, Monday Morning Fallout, we're going to overreact to a T90 little football weekend across the state of Texas. Then we're going to be joined by one of the main characters of that aforementioned T90 little football weekend. The head coach of the 7-1 Nederland Bulldogs, Coach Scott Rich, will join us live from Jefferson County to talk about their big win over their arch rival Port Neches Groves. After which we will roll out the brand new Dave Campbell's Texas Football Associated Press Texas High School Football Rankings. And if Week 9 was chalky, Week 10 is not. What's the opposite of chalky?
Liquidy.
Then we'll roll out the Dave Campbell's Texan Live Top 10 Plays of the Week. Round it all out with This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting. And then we'll have final mailbag. So you got questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel. Get them in the comments, Facebook and YouTube. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was TJ Hudson, Big Jiggly Water Balloons, Josh Wyndham, and Joey Hill. Welcome in, fellas.
Welcome in, friends. We do appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with us. Okay, pot right. Wheel them around. Pickle. Hit the air raid siren sign for Monday Morning Fallout. Monday Morning Fallout, and we overreact to the football weekend. And what a football weekend it was.
Pretty darn good.
Can I get you to fix the word brief on the third? Start my opening kick. 16 brief thoughts about Week 9. So I tried to sum it all up into one cohesive thing.
And instead we have 16 things.
Thought, and I was just like, what if I just jot down all my thoughts? And I came up with 16 of them. Here we go. North Shore's big game experience won the game against Atascocita.
Yeah.
North Shore was down. They were behind for most of this game against Atascocita. If you missed it, you can go back and watch it on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. It was a showstopper. And there are a lot of teams that would not have found a way to win that game. A lot of teams. Most teams, I would say. But when you take a look at the big game experience they had on the field, specifically at the quarterback spot in Caleb Bailey, that, to me, was what was the difference in the ball game. North Shore was cool under pressure. When the chips were down, they made big plays. That big game experience won them the game. That's thought one. Thought two, North Shore and Atascocita might be the two best teams in Texas. I went back and forth with the panel when putting together the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Associated Press Texas High School Football Rankings. I think there's an argument to be made that North Shore should be number one, and I think there's an argument to be made that Atascocita should be number two.
Duncanville might have something to say about that.
Duncanville's in the mix. North Crowley's in the mix.
Yeah.
Westlake's in the mix. We'll get to them in a moment.
Atascocita has the head-to-head over Westlake, so that helps.
But I think North Shore and Atascocita, I think there's a fair chance that game we saw between North Shore and Atascocita is actually a matchup of the two best teams in Texas. And we could be heading for a rematch. And I would like to see that. 3, Nederland's win over PNG was not a fluke. Nederland won that game. Nederland was the better team on Friday night. And the numbers and the computers will tell you it was a big upset. 21 points. Port Neches Groves was projected to win that game by 21 points. A, rivalry things. B, Nederland's defense showed out. Plain and simple. Their defense played, I think, their best game of the year and came up with big stops. And I think they put Port Neches Groves in a position where they were uncomfortable, where they were chasing the game. And what's strange is, again, we talked about how PNG has this big game experience. Nederland looked like the veteran team. Nederland looked like the team that was coming through when it mattered most. They got Hubert Thomas going late. They figured things out defensively and really took away the things that made Port Neches Groves go, took away the running game. And I think Nederland was, plain and simple, they were the better team. They beat Port Neches Groves. Hard stop. Thought 4, we're now looking at South Oak Cliff and Port Neches Groves in the second round of the playoffs.
That's insane.
You want to talk about ripple effects, what that means? Let's say Nederland wins that district, which right now, it would take something pretty crazy for that not to happen. If Port Neches Groves finishes second in the district, that means they're playing South Oak Cliff in the second round of the playoffs. We would have a rematch of the 2022 and 2023 state championship games in the area round of the playoffs before Thanksgiving. Insane. 5, this is a different, more physical Hitchcock team. Okay? Last year when Hitchcock played Columbus, they got bullied up front. Columbus was dominant at the point of attack. This year, Hitchcock basically played them to a draw. And I think the big difference for them has been their defensive lineman, Malcolm Simpson. For all we talk about Lloyd Jones, all we talk about Kelshawn Johnson, all the playmakers they've got, Malcolm Simpson, their defensive lineman, I think has changed the way they play defense up front. I think their offensive line played very well, and they were able to come up with big plays because they were able to match up front. That is the difference for Hitchcock this year and why they are, well, thought 6. 6? No, I'm not counting. 6. Columbus will be fine, but 3A Division 1's wide open. Wide open.
Mm-hmm.
I was ready if Columbus had beaten Hitchcock. And certainly, look, Columbus is throwing for a 2-point conversion at the final gun to win the game, right? Or in overtime.
With Grayson Rigdon not really playing.
With Grayson Rigdon kind of half in the game. So I'm not burying Columbus. If they had won that game, I was ready to crown them.
Yeah.
I was ready to say they are certainly the team to beat. And they may still be the team to beat. But 3A Division 1, I think now, has a slew of contenders that can all play for it all in a couple of weeks. 7, Westlake is still the king of Austin, but Summer Creek looms. Now you're thinking, who cares about that? That's in the state semifinal. I like this Westlake team. I really do. I think that the defense and the special teams are their specialty. I think they've got a solid quarterback in Reese Wise. They look like the favorite in Division 2. It looks like they're going to go Division 2 route. They look like the favorite in Region 4. I think Region 3 right now is the favorite over Region 4. Right now, I project that as Summer Creek over Westlake. That is the biggest thing here. But Westlake, a fantastic win in the Battle of the Lakes, an old-school defensive slugfest, the kind of game that's going to make Tony Salazar smile. Like, that was a vintage Tony Salazar game. Their defense played fantastic, and their special teams came up big. 8, Sunray can win the title in 2A Division 1.
Mm-hmm.
Sunray now has wins by multiple scores over Panhandle, over Canadian, over Stratford, over Childress, over Abernathy. What more do we need to see? They are complete. That's the word. The word is complete. They are not just Armando Luan. He's been fantastic. They are not just Armando Luan. Their defense is excellent, and they have a number of different ways that they can beat you. Sunray can win the 2A Division I state championship. Will they? 2A Division I Region 1 is going to be tough. But they can do it. And I think that was proof of concept on Friday night. Whatever number, 9, I think. They're going to build a statue of Robert Jones in Bay City.
Yeah.
Bay City beats El Campo in consecutive years for the first time since 2004, 2005. It's been 20 years since they've beaten El Campo in consecutive years. And Bay City comes out and does the dang thing. They hold off a late El Campo rally, and they win the big rivalry game. Bay City's for real. I am in on Bay City, and for Robert Jones, what he's doing down there is spectacular. 10, I think. Alito might be vulnerable. One of the things that I think flew under the radar, we didn't even talk about Alito and Richland all that much last week because we thought Richland's really banged up, not sure they're going to be able to hang with them, and it's Alito, right? At home. Alito might have shown some vulnerabilities, especially on the defensive side. And if a relatively wounded Richland team can do that, can force them into overtime. Now, Alito survives, and the name of the game is stacking them in the left-hand column. But Alito might be a little bit vulnerable, and Richland may have exposed a couple of things that can work. 11, Allen is capital B back. They beat Prosper 22-7 in just a grinded-out rock fight and win the ball game. They're going to finish 10-0. It is time to start taking them very seriously. 11, I think. West Orange Stark is capital B back. They beat Silsby. West Orange Stark's for real, guys. Like, this team is for real. Hiawatha Hickman, after a couple of years of trying to kind of retrench this program, they are back. They're playing terrific defense. They're explosive. West Orange Stark's for real. I think this is 13. 13. Don't overlook Mason's win over Holland. I think that's an under-the-radar win. Mason was playing a good Holland team, and they smoked them. Mason is playing exceptional ball right now. And in 2A Division I in Region 4, which no longer has Shiner, they may be the chief challenger to Rafira in Region 4. 14. Don't ever look Edna's win over Goliad. That was a big state-ranked matchup, and Edna shooed Goliad away. Edna looked fantastic in their win. 15. Alvin Shadow Creek showed they're a threat because of their defense. They beat Pearland. They're without their starting quarterback, and it didn't matter because their defense stood on its head. I am very impressed with the Sharks, and they are a team we should be paying a lot of attention to. Very impressed with them. And 16. Pleasant Grove is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Pleasant Grove, we talked about this. Pleasant Grove played Gilmer, and they beat them. Pleasant Grove is very young. Very, very young. They are going to be a problem for the next 3 years. Okay? This year and the 2 after them, because they've got a ton of sophomores. This is very reminiscent of the first like embers of that original Pleasant Grove run from like 2016 to 2018, where they were very, very young, they were ahead of schedule, and suddenly it's not just this year, it's the years moving forward. Josh Gibson is doing it again. It's time to treat them with a lot of seriousness. Pleasant Grove is going to be a problem. Those are 16 brief thoughts about Week 9. Game of the week. Frisco Wakeland 65, Frisco Lone Star 59 in overtime.
This might be the game of the year so far.
So we're just going to play some highlights here from our friends at NBC Sports Engine. There is our buddy, Texan Live Zone Kyle Yeoman's on the call, right? Mm-hmm. And a unbelievable finish. Another thing to remember in this one, Lone Star is undefeated, number 2 in the state, looking good. Wakeland is a huge underdog in this game. But we pick it up late 4th with Lone Star down before all hell breaks loose.
Boyd at the line. He'll make a check with me here. Steps back into the shotgun. Massey to his right. Looks that way. Boyd lining it up, throwing it on the money. Dean into the end zone. Touchdown, Lone Star. Fire, Mangum, and Treadway are all to the near side of the screen. Pressure there from Maples. He avoids it, steps up in the pocket, throws a strike to Treadway. It's caught, first down, clock stops momentarily as the chains reset. Jack Minsky to send this one that has already been a classic to OT from 43 yards away. High snap. It's down. Plenty of distance. This one is through. Marvelous Minsky sends Wakeland into overtime. They put Meyer in motion. Maples runs left. He's going to be stacked at the 1. Turnover on downs. Maples is sandwiched, and Lone Star stands at the goal line.
Initially, it looked like Maples had an opportunity to get into the end zone.
Timeout for an injured player.
The speed of that Lone Star defense to meet him at the goal line.
Lone Star trying to put it on ice. Hoyt will push to the 5, keeps the pile rolling, keeps on rocking. The ball popped out. Wakeland's got the football. They've got a return at the 30 with blockers up in front. Austin Wilson. He's going to take it all the way back. The Wakeland Miracle inside Ford Center. The craziest play you will ever see. Wakeland was dead to rights, and they win it in overtime. 65-59 the final from Frisco.
So that's cool. There's just so much going on. Let's not overlook the fact that Wakeland piped a 43-yard field goal to send it to overtime. 43 in high school, folks. And then, of course, Austin Wilson with one of the plays of the year, a strip and 99-yard return
in overtime.
When basically Lone Star could have kicked a field goal on third down and won the game.
Yeah.
But, of course, that's not second-guessing it. They're doing the right thing. But just an unbelievable individual play from Austin Wilson. And Wakeland stuns Frisco Lone Star in our game of the week. Tepper's play of the week. This one flew under the radar. Wichita Falls Memorial played Lubbock Cooper. State-ranked Lubbock Cooper, mind you. On the road in Lubbock. Not an easy drive, Wichita Falls to Lubbock. They found themselves down 7 with about 4 seconds to play. And Wichita Falls Memorial pulls off what I can only refer to as the Maverick Miracle. Hear from our friends at the, I believe it's a Maverick Radio Network. You have to see how Wichita Falls Memorial and Lubbock Cooper ended.
Seconds on the clock. Here we go. Final play of the game right here. 4 seconds left. Crowd's on their feet. Mavs playing down to the wire for the second week in a row. Castle's at quarterback. Drop back pass. Pressure coming. Has time. Going to the end zone. Has a man. He's got it. Touchdown Mavericks. Touchdown Mavericks. Touchdown Mavericks. Hey now. Hey now. Hey now.
Are you kidding? I don't know who caught that ball. I'm looking to see. That was Kenji Johnson. Kenji Johnson just caught that football. And they're going to go for 2. They're going for the win.
Mavericks going for the win. Gutsy play call right here. 43-42. We're going for it right now. What a gutsy performance by the Mavericks.
They're going for it.
Holy cow.
It's time. We need a
Kenji Johnson just made the most incredible play Oh, my goodness.
Here we go for all the marbles. Going for two. Rolling to his right. Looking. Has a man. Mavs win. I don't believe what I just saw. Pandemonium reigns. Mavericks win 44-43.
And down goes the number 8 team in the state of Texas.
Mavs win.
I'm really sad he didn't hit us with the "This is what dreams are made of."
Pretty wild stuff. Great.
That was
win for
awesome.
Wichita Falls Memorial.
Great call.
Great call from the Wichita from the Memorial Mavericks radio network. There you go. All right, it's time for the Dude Rock Dude of the week. And it's Houston Westbury Christian running back Hunter Morgan. I got an email about this morning. So we don't normally do a ton of spotlighting of private school 6-man games.
Yeah.
Houston Westbury Christian beats Sugarland Logos Prep 111-90. Okay? A high-scoring 6-man game for sure. Not entirely unprecedented, but whenever you have 200 points scored in a game, like that's noteworthy. Hunter Morgan carries the ball 29 times for 715 yards and 16 touchdowns.
Good Lord.
29 carries, 715 yards, and 16 touchdowns. Hunter Morgan of Houston Westbury Christian, my dude of the week.
I bet he slept so good after that game.
He averaged 24.5 yards a carry, and he scored 16 touchdowns.
What do you, like, as a defensive coordinator, what do you do? Like,
just like pour water on the field.
Yeah.
Now it's time for a very special NFL Minute. My mom, our chief NFL correspondent, is in Italy.
Oh my gosh, she did this from Italy?
Do you think that stopped her from filing it? No, she's married to the game. Here's the NFL Minute.
Hi, this is Tetmon from Florence, Italy, giving you the NFL Minute for this week. I'm highlighting the Cleveland Browns' surprising victory over the Baltimore Ravens. These guys play for the Browns, and they also play Texas high school football. Hakeem Adjuan went to Garland High School. Dustin Hopkins went to Clear Lake High School. Miles Garrett went to Arlington Martin. James Prochi went to DeSoto High School. Jermaine Ifedi went to Houston Westside. And finally, Deontay Freeman went to Texas City High School. That's it for this week. See ya.
Thanks, Mom. Our chief NFL correspondent. My mom.
Incredible.
Married to the game.
That's insane.
Married to the game. So, yeah. Thanks, Mom.
I hope she's enjoying Florence.
I hope she is, too. She texted me, this is true. She wore WhatsApp to me, whatever, on Saturday morning or whenever it was. She was like, we're here in Rome, and I just heard about all the upsets on Friday night. Wow. Married to the game. Stock up, West Mesquite. It's time to start taking them very seriously. They are 8-0. They just beat undefeated Carrollton Creekview. They have got
which is a wild
juice.
statement in and of itself.
Correct. But Steven Jackson and the Wranglers are 8-0. They are favorites to finish 10-0. They are for real. It is time to pay attention to what West Mesquite's got cooking. Stock down Tatum. It's not so long ago that Tatum was state ranked. They lose their second district game to Atlanta, kind of get blown out 42-7. They're going to be favored this week against White Oak, but they finished the year at Jefferson, state-ranked Jefferson. Spoiler alert for the rankings review. State-ranked Jefferson, if they lose that game, they would finish 4th in district and have a first-round playoff matchup with Winsboro. That is serious business. For Tatum, this was a really critical loss, I think, to Atlanta. So certainly keeping an eye on what's going on there in District 8-3A Division 1. Now it's time for the Matt Step. He got that dog in him. Player of the week.
And now, the Matt Step. He got that dog in him. Player of the week.
Hey y'all, Matt Stepp, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, here in the press box at Cy-Fair FCU Stadium, where it's halftime of the Cy Springs Cy Park Saturday night game. But I'm not here to talk about that game. I'm here to bring you the Week 9 Matt Stepp, He Got That Dog in Him award. That's right, it's time. And today, the winner of the Week 9 Matt Stepp, He Got That Dog in Him award is none other than Cy Ranch defensive end Nicholas Fisher. In today's 35-34 win over previously unbeaten Cy Woods, the Oregon State commit had a dominant game along the defensive line, consistently getting pressure on the Cy Woods quarterbacks, holding down their running game. But the biggest key of all, he blocked not one, not two, but 3 kicks in the game. He blocked a pair of extra points, including the extra point in overtime that was the difference in the game, and he also blocked a field goal. Congrats, Nicholas. You, sir, have got that dog in you.
This has been the Matt Stepp He Got That Dog in Him Player of the Week.
Thank you, Matthew. It's time for my final shot, which is that the playoffs start now. We are in week 10 now of the Texas high school football season. 10!
Double digits.
Which means for some teams, this week is the last game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
They are blowing up basketballs on Monday. Yes. So for many teams, there are win and in, lose and out situations, either functionally or spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of teams across the state, the playoffs start this week. And that should ramp up a little bit of the intensity. Friday is November, y'all. Football
crazy.
Playoffs are here. It's time to start taking it seriously. That's my final shot. And that is a very brief Monday morning fallout. We are Texas Football Today. We're here Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Normally in this spot, I would tell you to subscribe to TexasFootball.com/subscribe, and I do want you to do that. But instead, I want to tease something.
Chong chong.
Thursday. On this very program, at this very time, we will have a major Dave Campbell's Texas football announcement. A major, seismic Texas high school football, Dave Campbell's Texas football announcement.
It's big stuff.
Right here, live on this program, this time on Thursday.
Don't miss it.
Coming up here in just a moment, one of the guys who helped shape a wild Week 9 of the Texas high school ball season, Coach Scott Rich of Nederland, will join us. But first, a word from these valued partners.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
30-yard line, the 20, the 10, touchdown!
Hey DFW residents, get your grocery essentials in minutes, not hours or days, with Wing Drone Delivery. Forget about last-minute trips to the store when you need things like cereal for breakfast before school, medicine for a cold, or snacks for a movie night. Wings drones get you quick, no-contact delivery in as fast as 15 minutes. Say goodbye to last-minute grocery runs and say hello to more of your valuable time. Sign up today.
Back here on Texas Football Today, I'm Greg, that's Ashley. Pickle, let's go to the hotline. We are pleased to go down to Jefferson County to talk with the head coach of the 7-1 Nederland Bulldogs, it's Coach Scott Rich. Coach, how are you?
Doing well. How are you today?
I'm doing excellent. I've never experienced something like this, so I'm interested in asking you, what is it like to be the most popular guy in a town?
Well, I'll say it's a little bit distracting. Let's just say it that much.
Yeah, I'm sure your phone has not stopped ringing. We appreciate you taking a little bit of time for us. This is obviously a spectacular win over number 1 Port Neches Groves for a million different reasons. But now that you've had about a little bit of time to catch your breath, when you take a look back at what you guys were able to accomplish on Friday night in Port Neches, what for you was the real key for you guys to come out with what was a pretty surprising win?
Well, I would say, ultimately is getting our kids to finally believe in what we're doing. Mm-hmm. Believe in themselves. We talk about, on a daily basis about resetting every day and having to go out and perform every day and teaching them what that looks like and what it looks like to be a winner every day. So now that they kind of see some benefits to what we're telling them, that now their eyes are open a little bit more and going, okay, hey, we really can do these things. So sometimes telling those things and getting them to do it is two different things.
You guys, there's so much about this game that's remarkable. You guys are on the road against the number one team in the state with a 22-game winning streak in a massive rivalry game in a crazy atmosphere. What was your message to your guys going into this game? I know coaches will tell us that every game is, you got to treat every game, let's just go 1-0 every day, but obviously Mid-County Madness is a little different. What was your message to your guys heading into this ball game?
Well, again, the kids have said this a few times, but we use the phrase, this cannot be our Super Bowl. It can't be a deal where we're treating it as that because ultimately we have other fish to fry, so to speak. We've got a big game this week too. So getting them to do that and not putting so much emphasis on it, it's not easy because these kids have all grown up with each other and they've played each other hundreds of times, seems like, and they got a big rivalry. So getting them to do that, it's easier said than done. But the message was just clear. Hey, let's just try to go out and win a game and see if we can do something special.
Certainly did something special. Scott Rich, head coach at Nederland, join us here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. All right, Coach, there's so many places to talk about this team, but what really I think what wowed me on Friday night was the way your defense played. I mean, this is a P&G team that can score in bunches, and you guys were able to keep a lid on them. What about your defense right now is playing particularly well that has you guys rolling right now?
Well, I mean, I think you have to remember that we've only been in this system. The kids have been in this system about maybe 8 months,
Mm-hmm.
So as we started the first part of the year, they were still kind of, they're still kind of babies in the system. They haven't really been around it. They haven't played it very well yet. And, we've had some experience in it and had some success in it. And they've seen some good positive things happen through it. And that's just kind of built on top of itself. So, they're playing at a high level because of that. I believe, they're trusting what their coaches are coaching them and telling them to do. And, that helps you when you just relax and you play fast. You can do some good things.
On the offensive side, it's hard not to pay attention to your star running back, Hubert Thomas. This guy, 147 yards, a real workhorse for you guys. The numbers are impressive, and you watch the tape and you see what a hard charging, just hard nosed, tough kid this guy is. But from your perspective, as a guy who sees him every day in practice, what is it about Hubert Thomas that makes him special?
Well, he's an ultimate competitor. Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at the kid, and he's such a quiet kid. He's such a quiet demeanor, off the field, and he's just a good student in the classroom. And but he has a cutthroat about him when he gets on the field. I mean, he gets a little look in his eye, and he enjoys competing no matter what it is. He gets on the track, he gets in the basketball court, he wants to compete at everything he does. So competition is something that he loves to go and do.
Well, you guys are 5-0 in District 8-5A Division II play, and the good thing is, Coach, that things lighten up for you guys. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm checking my notes here. Actually, you guys, Friday night, you guys will come home and host a Huntsville team that is as hungry as they come. I know you're already working on the Hornets for this week, and I don't want to ask you to give everything away, but when you take a look at what you're going to be up against this Friday night, what do you see?
Well, they're explosive offensively, and they've got phenomenal skill kids, and their offensive and defensive line are all playing at a high level. So we had a practice this morning because we don't have school today. So we practiced this morning, and we talked to the kids about we've got to put this last game behind us because we've got a quality, hungry opponent coming up here, and they're ready and willing to put a beat down on us if we don't come out and play well.
He's Scott Rich. He's the head coach of the 7-1 Nederland Bulldogs, coming off a big win over Port Neches Groves. Coach, we sure appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the big win, and best of luck this Friday night as well.
All right, appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good day.
Absolutely. There you go. Scott Rich, head coach.
Thank you.
The Nederland Bulldogs join us here at Texas Football Today. Probably real tired of doing media. That's been, I mean that sincerely. Have you ever been the most popular person in a town?
No. Gosh, no.
I've never been the most popular person in a town. That guy could run for mayor and win 100% of the vote right now in Nederland, Texas.
But I guarantee you, if you asked him, would you rather have to deal with media and win or not deal with media and lose?
Oh, yeah.
He would take 8 million more interviews to be able to win that game.
Absolutely. And what's so remarkable, I think it's important to remember, of course, he's in his first year there, coming over after as a run as an assistant in Katy. He was taking over a program in Nederland that felt like, quite frankly, a little stuck in the mud, right? Hadn't gone over there. 4-7 last year, 2-8 the year before. They hadn't had a winning. They hadn't had a what they would consider to be like a good year since back in 2020. They haven't had a 10-win season since 2018. And I think when you combine that with the fact that P&G is down the road, going to title games, winning state championships, like that eats at you in a place like Nederland. And so to go on the road into hostile territory, not hostile territory, the most hostile territory, one of the toughest places to play in America, and to come out with a gutty win over the number one team in the state and your arch rival, and to snap a 22-game winning streak, I mean, that's as sweet as it comes for Nederland. Still work to do, but this is a team to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on the Nederland Bulldogs, and as we roll out the rankings here, we may just see them. Spoiler alert. We're Texas Football Today. Follow us on socials, etc., etc. All right, Pickle. It's time to roll out the Week 10 Dave Campbell's Texas Football Associated Press Texas High School Football Rankings. Of course, we're the official rankings provider of the Associated Press. These are the Texas High School Football Rankings of record. And you may remember previously on the rankings reveal, you may remember that not a whole lot of movement last week, right? You may remember the word chalky came to mind. I will tell you, obviously, because of a huge Week 9, some shakeups across the state of Texas. Let's start with the Class 6A rankings, where Atascocita, with their loss to North Shore, tumbles one spot to number 5. South Lake Carroll moves up a spot to number 4. The big drop here is Lake Travis. Lake Travis loses to Austin Westlake. They drop from 6 to number 16. As a result, everyone kind of nudges up. Your new top 10, Duncanville, North Shore, North Crowley, South Lake Carroll, Atascocita, DeSoto, Summer Creek, Allen, Coppell, and Fulshear are your top 10. Prosper drops from number 11 or 15 to number 21 with their loss to Allen. Allen, by the way, is up to number 8 in the state. Keep an eye on them. Pearland, number 24, drops out of the rankings with their loss to Shadow Creek. Shadow Creek nudges up a spot in their place. And back into the rankings, the Vandergrift Vipers, quietly 7-1. With a 38-13 win over Hutto. So 6A gets a little bit of a makeover there at the top. To 5A we go. In 5A Division 1, let's go to work here. Frisco Lone Stars shocking loss to Frisco Wakeland in overtime, drops them from number 2 to number 9. As a result, everyone kind of nudges up. Your new number 2 team in the state is A&M Consolidated. College Station back into the top 5. Lufkin jumps up 2 spots with their win over Port Arthur Memorial to number 7. Back are new to the rankings. How about the 8-0 Corpus Christi Flower Bluff Hornets? Big winners over Donna North. They are 8-0 on the year. They are now the number 8 team in the state. Richland, their 49-42 loss to number 1 Aledo. We kept them at number 10. Obviously, taking Aledo to overtime impressed us pretty significantly. So number 8 Galveston Ball crashes out of the rankings with their loss this weekend to Barbers Hill. 5A Division 2. Totally upside down, including a new number 1 team in the state. The South Oak Cliff Golden Bears are the number 1 team in 5A Division 2 after Port Neches Groves is lost to Nederland. They drop to number 9. Right behind, newly ranked Nederland at number 8 in the state, thanks to their win over P&G. They're now 7-1 in the year and the 8th ranked team in the state, just behind Brenham at number 7, who jumps 3 spots with their win over Killeen Ellison. Lubbock, Cooper, and Lovejoy crash out of the rankings, making room for the aforementioned Nederland, as well as Iowa Colony, 7-1 on the year. They beat Fort Bend Marshall 35-21 to vault back into the top 10 in 5A Division 2. So, to recap, your 5A Division 2 top 10, South Oak Cliff, Alamo Heights, Texas High, Argyle, Richmond Randall, Liberty Hill, Brenham, Nederland, P&G, and Iowa Colony, a new look 5A Division 2 rankings. Speaking of new look, let's go to 4A. 4A got a makeover specifically in the bottom half. San Antonio Davenport lunges up 2 spots to number 7. Kilgore up 2 spots to number 8. Longview Pine Tree, nice winners over Chapel Hill. They are up to number 7. Bay City, their big win over El Campo, vaults them up to number 10. Sulphur Springs, new to the rankings, they're at number 9 with a win over Nevada Community. El Campo drops from number 5 to number 10 with their loss to Bay City, and Canyon Randall crashes out with their loss to Canyon West Plains. 4A Division 2 also had a little bit of chaos. Gilmer's loss to Pleasant Grove tumbles them from number 3 to number 9. As a result, everybody nudges up, including Pleasant Grove, up 2 spots to number 7 in the state. Wimberley now up to number 6. Graham up to number 5 with their their big game this week against Brock. Keep an eye on that one. Sinton now the number 3 team in the state. Your top 5 in 4A Division 2: Carthage, Brock, Sinton, Seminole, and Graham. New to the rankings as Robinson crashes out with their loss to Waco La Vega. The Belleville Brahmas back into the rankings with a 60-0 win over Giddings. They're 5-3 on the year. To 3A we go. 3A Division 1, we have a new number 1 team in the state. The Malakoff Tigers grabbed the number 1 spot in the 3A Division 1 rankings with their win over Emory Reigns. They are 8-0. Hitchcock vaults up 2 spots to number 3 with their overtime win over Columbus. Columbus falls from number 1 to number 4, just behind Hitchcock. Edna nudges up 2 spots with their win over Goliad. Palestine Westwood, after an eventful week last week, they do beat Tig. They are up to number 5 in the state. Jefferson up to number 6. Liberty Ilo up to number 7, Winsboro up to number 8, and 2 newly ranked teams as Bushland and Goliad crash out of the rankings. Bushland, surprising loss to Shallowater. Number 9, the Franklin Lions. They're back. Big winners over McGregor. They're 5-2 on the year. And Shallowater, now the number 10 team in the state after their stunning win over Bushland. 3A Division 2 was a little bit more chalky, although Blanco's win over Lexington shakes things up a little bit. Lexington tumbles from number 4 to number 9 with the loss. Wichita Falls City View loses to Holiday, and as a result, Holiday grabs a number 10 spot in the rankings. Your top 10 now in 3A Division 2: Gunner, East Bernard, Poth, New Diana, Wall, Grand Saline, still undefeated, Newton, Jacksboro, Lexington, and Holiday. To 2A we go. 2A Division 1 is essentially unchanged with the exception of one move. Sunray vaults Ganado for the number 3 spot in the 2A Division 1 rankings. Their win over Panhandle, awfully impressive. Panhandle falls 1 spot to number 8. Mason up a spot to number 7 in their place. So your top 10 now: Stamford, Refugio, Sunray, Ganado, Hawley, Honeygrove, Mason, Panhandle, Corsicana, Mildred, and Hamilton. To 2A Division 2 we go, where there's only one real change. Ropes loses. They are out of the rankings as a result. And into their place, Shiner moves up a spot to number 9. And new to the rankings, have you heard the good news about the Eagles of Junction? 7-1 on the year. Winners over Dehanus, 54-3. Keep an eye on those Eagles. Your top 5 remains unchanged: Mart, Collinsville, Munster, Albany, and Groover. To the 6-man ranks we go, where 6-man did decide to behave a little bit. We did make one move here. Aquila now 9-0 on the year. They vault Happy to grab the number 7 spot in the state with their win over Penelope. They're now 9-0 on the year. The top 5 remains unchanged in 1A Division 1. Gordon, Abbott, Whiteface, May, and Buena Vista. To 1A Division 2 we go, where Blanket crashes out of the rankings with their loss to Zephyr. Top 8 remained unchanged, but Whitherl moves up a spot to number 9 despite being idle. And new to the rankings, the Bulldogs of Zephyr, now the number 10 team in the state with their win over previously unbeaten Blanket. There, 7-1 on the year. Your top 5 in 1A Division 2 remains unchanged: Jayton, Richland Springs, Oglesby, Motley County, and Benjamin. And to the private school ranks we go, where there is exactly nothing to see here. Everyone was a winner in the private school ranks. In the 11-man ranks, your top 5: San Antonio Holy Cross, Argyle Liberty Christian, Fort Worth All Saints, Dallas First Baptist, and Houston Kincaid. And in the 6-man ranks, it is Houston Emory Weiner, Pasadena First Baptist, Fredericksburg Heritage, Corpus Christi Annapolis, and Wichita Christian are your top 5 in the private school ranks. So an eventful week of Texas high school football with an eventful set of rankings. And now we'll see what Week 10 has in store. But there it is, your Week 10 Dave Campbell's Texas Football Associated Press Texas high school football rankings. You can find those at texasfootball.com/rankings. We are Texas Football Today. We're here Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Coming up here in just a moment, we're going to have This Week in Recruiting. with Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football, but there is one thing we got to do before we do that, and that is to roll out the Week 9 Dave Campbell's Texan Live Top 10 Plays of the Week. Our friend Trevor Bullard put together this montage of what can only be described as absolute chaos. The top 10 Texas high school ball plays of the week presented by our friends at Body Armor.
We're losing to Cedar Park, so he's been to those big games. Rogers, under duress, has to throw a screen, and he throws his first pick of the year. This is going to be down at the 1. Intercepted by Ryan Seymour.
Cates looking this way. That's caught. Taylor, cross midfield. I don't know if anybody's going to catch Jordan Taylor across the 20-yard line. He's still on his feet and gets into the end zone for a Pine Tree touchdown.
Fontenot rolling here, near side, throws, caught, escaping and staying on his feet is Jarrell Smith. Oh, look at this move. Jarrell Smith headed for the end zone. Touchdown, Buccaneers.
Here's Stone. Line driver, Livingood's got a chance to return it. And nearly a block in the back. And Livingood with a really good return. Livingood 40, 45, bounces it outside. Great block. He's gone down the sideline. 10-5 touchdown. 80 yards.
This is it. Connor Bailey, shotgun, rolls to his left. Still holds it, throws sideline, intercepted at the 32-yard line.
Overtime period. Barker will run it, and he is not in. He didn't make it, and Barbers Hill wins it.
It is going to be a give to Guillory. Tries to get to the outside, breaks a tackle to the 5. Touchdown, Aledo Bearcats! The Bearcats win the game, 48-42.
See if they go back to Davis. They don't. They want Henson to roll out on this one. Henson looking to air it out. Big play potential. Caught! End zone! Touchdown! Welcome back, Cam Schaefer.
Trips on the near side for Schobel. Here comes more pressure. Schobel running for his life. Looks, stays on his feet, launches it for the end zone. It is caught! Touchdown! Braylon Fisher has done it again!
Here's Bailey, 23 seconds. Bailey heaves it, juggled, and caught down to the 5. Unreal! It's Cameron Smith.
Pretty good. Your Dave Campbell's Texan Life Top 10 Plays of the Week. You can find those on our YouTube page.
That was a hard one to put together.
Yeah. When you've got like a goal line stand in a fourth overtime and it's like the 6th best play of the week, it's like, okay.
Pretty good week.
Pretty good week. Speaking of pretty good.
No, speaking of fantastic, great, exceptional, wonderful.
It's Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here at Dave
What's
Campbell's.
up?
Thanks for joining us.
What an intro.
Yeah, well, listen.
I'm fired up for that.
He wasn't going to give you the credit that you deserve, Greg. I respect you.
I thought he was going to say like something about having the start of a great week because, 2 Gregs and a pickle on Texas football today.
Sounds like a sitcom.
After last
2 Gregs and a pickle.
That's the next. That's like the next kid cartoon.
Yeah.
It's like the new version of Veggie Tales.
I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. This is This Week in Cruton. It's This Week in Recruiting, with Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout. See his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. Of course, this is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express, guys, I have some breaking Chicken Express news.
All right. Nice.
Let's go. This weekend, I got some chicken-y. I had their hush puppies.
Okay.
Are you y'all?
They're good.
I don't think I've ever seen it on the menu, but I was at not my normal Chicken Express, and it was on their menu, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a go. Oh my gosh.
I don't feel like I've had that. I have had their catfish, which is excellent, which you don't think, but you should.
And I remember eating the hush puppy, and I remember thinking, I need to remember to tell Pickle and Powers this on the show.
Well, and I love hush puppies. I'm a big fan of hush puppies.
Yeah. And surprisingly, you find equal amounts of bad hush puppies versus good.
You do.
Yes.
You can mess up a hush puppy.
I don't know how. Like, it seems like a foolproof thing, but you can. But Chicken Express doesn't even mess up.
They would never.
No, they would never.
They don't mess up, period.
They are batting 1,000. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers. Let's start with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise, we're going to the Houston area to Klein Forest to talk about their senior linebacker, Trenton Burkhalter Jr., who is having a terrific season for the Bearcats. And as a result, he is being rewarded by a bunch of new offers, Powers, including offers last week from Texas State and San Diego State, which is adding to a growing list there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. A really impressive senior tape for him. His move to linebacker, I think, is starting to power his recruitment a little bit. He played defensive end last year. As a matter of fact, last year playing defensive end, he set the school record with 7 sacks in a game, which caught him some national attention, which was pretty cool to reflect back on and look at as I was kind of like researching him out for this honor for this week's prospect on the rise. Burkhalter Jr. is a guy who, he rarely gets out of position. He has that downhill playmaking ability, and honestly kind of went from being largely off of the radar to being one of the state's top defensive players, especially in the Houston area where he's kind of taken his district by storm. I think that he is I guess you can never say this, it's a voting process, but in my mind, he's a lock for all district honors down there.
This is first of all, I need to issue an apology to Klein Forest. They're the Golden Eagles. Klein is the Bearcats. That's my bad.
Boo.
Just save your emails. I caught it. But this guy, the tape is like, I mean this in a nice way. It's like football violence. It's like a celebration of football violence. He arrives at the football angry. He plays really, really fun to watch. And yeah, you're right. They've had him coming off the edge a lot, but he's a guy who I think can do a little bit of everything out there is Trenton Burkhalter Jr. And probably the reason his versatility is giving him that edge in the recruiting rankings.
Well, the reason why I like his move to linebacker is it shows off that he can do many different things on the football field. He's not just a one-trick pony that's going to pin his ears back and get after the quarterback. He does have that capability, but he's not as tall or lengthy as some of your more prototype edge rushers. Well, he countered that this season with, guess what? I can move in the open field and I can chase down ball carriers in space. Add that to my repertoire, and I can be a more complete prospect all in all.
He's a playmaker. Trenton Burkhalter Jr., the outstanding linebacker there at Klein Forest. Let's roll on. Go ahead.
I want to point out.
Okay.
On Burkhalter, he's a wrestler, which I think shows through on tape because he's a good tackler and he's high-end academically. So if you're watching this thinking about taking a chance on a guy, if you love that wrestling background in your defenders and you're also looking for somebody that has good academics, he checks both of those boxes as well.
He most certainly does. Let's roll on to our commit of the week. Our commit of the week could be like it's technically a commit. It's not technically a flip. Our commit of the week is Pflugerville Weiss wide receiver Adrian Wilson. He's been a commitment to Arizona State for a while. Here's what happened, is that he decommitted from Arizona State after getting an offer from Colorado, and then during an official visit to Colorado, he committed. So it is not technically a flip, is where I am committed to Powers University, and then I say I am changing my commitment to Tepper University. So there is a gap here. This is functionally a flip, though, right?
Yeah, I would call it a flip. I really struggled with trying to say how, because it wasn't like a flip on the same day. I think the writing was on the wall at the time that he decommitted from Arizona State, that he had already pinned his Colorado offer tweet to the top of his social media channels and was scheduled to take an official visit to Colorado, which it looked like a great atmosphere in Boulder for that game against Cincinnati, which was the late night game that we had nationally to watch this week. Wilson is a dynamic deep ball winner. If you're looking for a guy to run the goal line fade or try to throw the jump ball up to a wide receiver in this class, there's some very highly touted guys. Kalik Lockett may have something to say about this, but Adrian Wilson might be the guy that you pick to throw that ball to. He's got that type of skill set in his bag. And now maybe he's found the school that he wants to play for in college, because, as you know, Adrian Wilson's been featured as the commit of the week before, back when he committed to TCU. As a matter of fact, him and Ty Hawkins, who are both now no longer committed to TCU, were the first two commitments in this 2025 cycle for the Horned Frogs. Well, he decommitted from TCU and committed to Oregon. And then he decommitted from Oregon and committed to Arizona State, and now he finds himself on Colorado's commitment list. So it's been a fun ride for Adrian Wilson as he looks to find the right home for himself at the next level.
He is a playmaking dude, and they got a big game
Huge
this week.
game.
Big game against College Station, which will be must-see TV.
This is the second time that Colorado's dipped into Texas for a top wide receiver prospect, because they got Draylon Miller last year and Adrian Wilson this year. And while they're both very talented, they couldn't be more different.
Yes.
Draylon Miller is like that guy, I'm going to get this guy the ball. He's bricked up like a running back in a lot of regards, and Adrian Wilson is that tall, lengthy, deep ball threat.
More like a classic one. You know what I mean? Like a more classic, number one receiver.
Yeah,
is Adrian,
outside guy.
Yeah, outside guy. Whereas I would say that Draylon Miller's maybe a little bit more like position versatile, but at the same time, you just kind of get him the ball in different ways. Whereas Adrian Wilson is a lot more like CeeDee Lamb. You know what I mean? We're just true number one guy. We're going to target him 15 times a game because we want to get him the ball.
He's also made strides on his senior tape. He's a lot more explosive this year than even he was last year. And I think a lot of that times that comes with confidence and swagger, knowing that you're the guy, right? He's got all these offers, kind of powering him up on Friday nights. He's not really have to worry about his future or making a mistake. He can go out there and go oh, look, I'm going to exert my dominance over you. And he can take advantage of smaller defensive backs at the high school level.
This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Let's round it all out with our underclassmen of the week. Our underclassmen of the week going to Lake Highlands, talk about their sophomore running back, Christian Rhodes. Picked up 3 new offers from North Texas, Ole Miss, and Arizona. He's already got offers from Oklahoma State and Houston. 6'1", 200 pounds, the star for Lake Highlands, a guy who has been really fun to watch develop and is the go-to guy for this Lake Highlands offense.
I feel like the Lake Highlands coaching staff was getting one over on us this year. Yeah. Because this guy didn't really play in the non-district schedule. And then district came around, and he went for 213 yards in the first game.
Yeah.
Light work.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, by the way, here I am. I'm a freak show running. And he's a bona fide stud. This is an overnight sensation, really. He kind of came out of nowhere and is now one of the top recruits in the state because he not only possesses the size that you look for, he's got a track background. It definitely shows through on tape, and he's able to exploit defenders, whether he's trying to get it to the outside or use his physicality. And to be quite honest with you, he's bigger and better than most of the defenders he goes up against. He can punish you in the middle of the field as well. But if you slip off a tackle on him, he's going to make you pay.
Yeah.
And his numbers back that up. He's putting up stats every week now.
He is the name to know there at Lake Highlands. Just a sophomore, Christian Rhodes, their outstanding running back, picking up offers left and right. One guy we never have to worry about picking up offers, specifically to go to eat at Chicken Express, is Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's
Is that a lunch invitation after the show today? Let's do it.
Follow him on Twitter, GPower Scouts. He has fine work at texasfootball.com/recruiting. Let's go to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
the question was best defensive PPG, so I'm thinking like what defense is doing the best.
Ooh, that is knowable. Let me see. So before, a couple weeks ago, it was Canton. They were the number 1 scoring defense in Texas. I can tell you right now, the number 1 scoring defense in Texas is Houston Worthing. Houston Worthing has given up 54 points in their 9 games. But close to that, Graham and Wheeler each giving up, I'm doing some mental math, right around 6 points a game. Pretty good. Pretty good there. So Houston Worthing, Graham, Wheeler, and then Houston Yates are probably your top 5. Although John Jay from San Antonio, big game this week in Southwest, and Canatillo in that mix as well.
By the way, that Worthing-Yates game, 7-6.
Hell yeah, brother.
So,
hell yeah.
2 of the top defenses when they played each other was a defensive struggle.
That's spectacular. That's fantastic. Got anything else, Pickle?
Oh, yeah, I've got an ender.
Okay.
If my new girlfriend tells me high school football is boring, should I dump her?
Oh, wow. No, and here's why. Everyone needs a project.
I was going to say, here's the thing. If she says it out of the gate, no, try to get her interested. Yes. If you've tried everything and Correct. It's not working.
What you should do is you should take her to a game.
Like
or
a fun
two.
game.
Like a fun game. Like where it's going to be good atmosphere, good band.
Playoffs.
A lot of the I have found that when you try to get people into Texas high school football, it's a hard sell to come out and just say, hey, here's like great football, you should watch it. Because like if you're used to watching the NFL and then you watch high school football, you're like, well, what's the deal? These guys are dropping passes. But what I have found is that if you go culture first and you say, come here and watch the band and the cheerleaders and just like the scene, that's the selling point. That's the sugar that then gets them into helps the medicine go down with like watching some slot T football.
Do you think it'd be best to go straight into like AT&T Stadium for a state championship tilt, or do you think it would be cooler to go to like small town Friday night, like Salina, somewhere that's going to show up and tailgate? And
I think that is. I think if you can find somewhere that like, I mean, I guess part of it is also like, does this new girlfriend just find football boring? Because if she just finds football boring,
then there's no way you're convincing her high school.
That's harder. You know what I mean?
If you took her to the Columbus Hitchcock game, this weekend, and she came out of there like, then it's over.
Then don't even.
There's no hope.
Then
at that point.
Tell her to find a ride home.
Don't do that.
You got Uber in Hitchcock.
You can take her home and then dump her, but take her home first.
I mean, leave her somewhere nice. That's what I'm saying.
Take her home and then dump her. Whatever. In person, respectfully.
That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Thanks again to Nederland head coach Scott Rich for being our guest and for Greg Powers for just being Greg Powers. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. We will see you Thursday on Texas Football Today.